Fear No Trader admits, every trader believes their biggest enemy is the market. They blame volatility, manipulation, bad news, or weak strategies. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. The greatest enemy lives inside us. It's fear. Fear is silent, invisible, and deeply personal. You can't chart it, you can't measure it, but it controls every trade you make. Fear is what makes you exit too soon. Fear is what makes you hold too long. Fear is what makes you double down when you should have walked away. And the most fascinating part? Most traders won't admit it. They'll disguise fear as analysis or gut feeling. But deep down, fear dictates when they click the buy button, when they freeze in hesitation, and when they sabotage themselves. This is the secret fear that controls trades. And once you learn to recognize it, you'll never look at the charts the same way again. Why fear exists in trading? Why is fear so powerful in trading? Because money isn't just money. To your brain, money equals survival, safety, security, and identity. When you risk money in the market, your subconscious interprets it as risking your safety in life. This is why your heart races when you see a red candle eating your profits. It's not just numbers on a screen. Your brain reacts as if something dangerous is happening. Modern psychology explains this with the amygdala, the fear center of the brain. It doesn't care that you're trading in 2025 on a laptop. It reacts the same way it did thousands of years ago when danger meant predators or famine. The human brain is wired for survival, not for trading. And this is exactly why fear hijacks rational decision-making. It exists in trading because the stakes feel personal, even existential, every time you put capital at risk. The illusion of control. Every trader enters the market with a sense of control. You set your plan, your stop loss, your target. You believe you are in command of the outcome. But then reality strikes. The market doesn't obey your plan. Suddenly you realize you control nothing except your own actions. And that realization terrifies most traders. It's like standing on a boat in the middle of the ocean, realizing the waves are bigger than you thought. Fear thrives in that gap, the gap between the illusion of control and the reality of unpredictability. That's when traders abandon their system, cancel stop losses, or move targets. They desperately try to reclaim a sense of control, but in doing so, they hand full control back to the market. The truth is, trading was never about controlling the market. It has always been about controlling yourself. Fear enters the moment you confuse the two. How fear shapes every candlestick. Look at a chart closely. What do you see? Lines? Numbers? No, what you're actually seeing is human emotion frozen in time. A hammer candle? That's fear turning into courage. A doji? That's hesitation and uncertainty. A shooting star? That's greed collapsing into fear in seconds. Each candlestick pattern tells a psychological story. When traders panic, they sell at the bottom, creating long wicks. When they chase, they drive up candles that collapse into reversals. Without understanding the psychology behind candles, you're only memorizing shapes. But when you recognize that every candlestick is human behavior under stress, you unlock the deeper meaning. The chart is not random. It's the collective fear, greed, hesitation, and conviction of thousands of traders just like you. Every candle is a heartbeat of the market, shaped by emotion. And at the core of it, more often than not, is fear, the moment of hesitation. Every trader knows this moment. You see the perfect setup. The chart aligns beautifully. Your strategy says go, and yet your hand freezes on the mouse. A voice whispers, "What if I lose? What if the market reverses? What if I'm wrong again?" That hesitation lasts only a few seconds, but it's long enough for the opportunity to slip away. And when it does, regret floods in. You didn't lose money, but you lost trust in yourself. That moment of hesitation is pure fear. The fear of being wrong, the fear of exposure, the fear of loss. This single hesitation is what separates amateurs from professionals. Pros feel the fear, but act anyway because they trust their system. Amateurs let hesitation control them, and every hesitation erodes confidence until they no longer believe in their own edge. That tiny pause is fear's sharpest weapon. Fear of missing out, FOMO. There's another fear that every trader knows. The fear of missing out. You see a stock or a currency exploding upward. The chart is flying, social media is buzzing, and your brain screams, "If I don't get in now, I'll miss the move of a lifetime." This is FOMO. It doesn't come from greed alone. It comes from the pain of watching others win while you sit frozen on the sidelines. FOMO hijacks your patience. It convinces you that this one trade could make everything different. So you chase, and almost instantly the market reverses, punishing you for breaking your rules. FOMO is the fear of being left behind, and in life it hurts. But in trading, it's lethal. Because every time you chase the market out of fear, you step into a trap set by the very psychology you failed to control. Fear of losing what you have. Equally destructive is the fear of losing what you already have. Imagine a trade is going perfectly. You're in profit. The setup is unfolding as planned. But instead of holding to your target, panic whispers. What if it reverses? What if I lose everything I've gained? So you close the trade early. You book a small win but sacrifice the larger move. This happens because the human brain values losses more than gains. Psychologists call this loss aversion. Losing $100 feels almost twice as painful as gaining $100 feels rewarding. So in trading, this fear drives us to cut winners short, locking in safety instead of trusting the plan. Ironically, it's this very fear of losing that stops traders from truly winning. Until you confront it, your wins will always be capped by fear, never by the market. Fear of being wrong. Perhaps the deepest fear in trading isn't about money at all. It's about identity. Every trade feels like a test of your intelligence, your skill, even your worth as a trader. So when a trade goes wrong, you don't just lose money. You feel like you lose credibility, maybe even dignity. This is the fear of being wrong. It pushes traders to avoid stop losses, to hold losing positions, to add more to bad trades, just to prove themselves right. It's no longer about the chart. It's about ego. As long as ego is tied to outcomes, fear will always control the trader. Professionals know this. That's why they detach identity from performance. They can lose a trade and still win the day because their worth isn't measured by a single outcome. Until you learn that, every trade will feel like a threat to who you are. The subconscious patterns that trap traders' fear doesn't only live in the moment, it builds over time, leaving scars in your subconscious. Every painful loss, every blown account, every mistake sits buried deep, waiting to reappear. You think you're reacting to the chart, but often you're reacting to past trauma. You hesitate today because last time you jumped too early. You closed too soon because last time the reversal hurt too much. These subconscious memories create loops, repeating the same mistakes endlessly. The problem is, most traders never realize it's happening. They think the market is punishing them, when in truth, they're punishing themselves. Until you confront and reprogram these patterns, you'll keep living the same painful cycles. Trading doesn't just test your strategy, it tests your unresolved psychology. Why logic fails when fear takes over? Every trader knows the rules. Respect your stop, let winners run, follow your plan. But when fear activates, logic disappears. Why? Because the brain shifts control. Instead of the rational prefrontal cortex, the emotional amygdala takes over. Your body pumps adrenaline, your palms sweat, your heart races. This is the fight or flight response, perfect for escaping predators, disastrous for managing trades. You're not in danger of being eaten, but your brain acts as if you are. That's why you exit too early, cancel stops, or freeze. The brain cannot distinguish between financial threat and physical threat. That's why fear so often defeats logic in trading. The only solution is to train your brain to respond differently, to replace panic with discipline. Until then, fear will always outrun logic. The spiral of emotional trading. Once fear infects your decision-making, it rarely stops at one trade. It creates a chain reaction, a spiral. You hesitate, miss an entry, then chase the next one. You lose, get frustrated, then revenge trade. That loss pushes you to exit the next winner too early, and on it goes. Each fear-driven mistake fuels the next until you're no longer trading the market, you're trading your emotions. This spiral is how accounts are destroyed, not usually in one catastrophic loss, but through dozens of small fear-driven mistakes. The market doesn't beat you. Fear does. And once you're in the spiral, the only way out is to pause, reset, and reclaim control over your mind before you return to the charts. How professionals face the same fear. Here's something beginners rarely believe. Even the most successful traders in the world feel fear. They are not superhuman. The difference is they don't try to eliminate fear. They accept it and prepare for it. They build systems strong enough to withstand it. They practice discipline until it becomes habit. They don't avoid stop losses. They use them as anchors. They don't deny emotions. They expect them. Professionals understand that fear is part of the game, but it doesn't have to dictate the outcome. By building routine, structure, and rules, they act despite fear. And that's the difference. Beginners believe they'll overcome fear one day. Professionals know fear will always be there, but they will always be stronger. Transforming fear into awareness. The turning point for any trader comes when they stop fighting fear and start listening to it. Fear is not always bad. It's information. If you feel panic, it might be telling you your position size is too big. If you feel FOMO, it might be telling you you've already missed the move. If you feel hesitation, it might be reminding you of a past mistake you haven't processed. When you observe fear without reacting to it, you gain clarity. Fear becomes awareness, and awareness leads to better decisions. Trading is not about killing emotions. It's about mastering the space between emotion and action. That's where true discipline lives. Steps to master emotional discipline. So how do you break fear's control? First, reduce your risk. If your trade size is so large that one loss feels devastating, your brain will always panic. Second, write and follow a trading plan. In the heat of the moment, memory is unreliable. A written plan anchors you. Third, practice consistency. Discipline is not built in a single trade. It's built through hundreds of small, correct decisions. Finally, separate your identity from your outcomes. A losing trade does not make you a loser. A winning trade does not make you a genius. You are not your results. The more you detach your ego from trades, the freer you become to execute with precision. Emotional discipline is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to act wisely despite fear. Conclusion. Breaking free from the hidden fear. Fear will never leave trading. It's built into the game. But the trader who understands it no longer becomes its victim. The secret fear controlling your trades is not out there in the market. It's inside you. The fear of losing, the fear of missing out, the fear of being wrong. These are the real forces moving your mouse, not the candles on the screen. But once you see it, once you confront it, fear loses its grip. You stop trading from a place of panic and start trading from a place of awareness. That's the difference between the 90% who fail and the 10% who survive. Trading mastery is not about controlling the market. It's about controlling yourself. And once you break free from fear, you finally step into the mindset of a true trader.